to her.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Matt, what the hell was that?
Wasn't me, coach. Welcome to the Straight Red Card. Get off our lawn.
Welcome to the Straight Red Card. In not my natural settings, I have to say. This is another house. I'm at my parents' house, and in one of the guest rooms. I was in a different guest room, but I couldn't get a fucking internet connection to save my life. But I walked 10 feet into the next room, and everything was fine. So you tell me that's weird. But I guess one wall can make a difference.
Interference. Absolutely does.
Right.
Yep.
So here we are after technical issues, but we made it. And the turn in the background says, "Welcome to the Straight Red Card. A 0-0 win. Great game. KY rub and tugs with me and Greg tonight will be a blast. I can safely say it's called soccer. Sod off, you fucked up tooth prats. Turd out." All right, Turd.
Well,
and
since the Turd brought it up, I might as well go ahead and bring up this clip real quick.
I love it.
USA wins 0-0.
The greatest tie ever. But honestly,
greatest tie ever since English 2010.
Yeah, we could have won this. We could have won this game, but not to get into it quite yet. But this makes my commitment to have simulated intercourse with the blow-up doll a little bit, I don't know, difficult. Lefty, I've already been saying prior to leading up to this that I would be at my parents' during the game. So the night of, I was not going to be able to live up to the blow-up doll. All my blow-up dolls are at home. So, and I'm not at home.
Can you imagine the parents in the next room hearing as Derek pops a hole in it?
Yes. I mean, hey, Mom, Dad, you don't mind me bringing my girlfriend over?
You got any scotch tape in there, Mom?
So I didn't bring my girlfriend over, i.e., the British the English blow-up doll. So yeah, there might be some surprises down the road, and we'll share them with you about how we're going to resolve this, since it was a tie. It wasn't a win.
Well,
wasn't a loss. Wasn't a loss either.
Well, that's the thing. We had an idea that was going to be one result if we won, and then one result if we drew or lost. But this draw doesn't feel like a loss.
No.
So I'm kind of torn where we're at on that.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, something's going to come out regardless.
Yeah. So did you have anything happen on Thanksgiving and what happened?
I will say, hold on. Okay. I will say, Chris, cancel this.
By the way, where the hell are you?
I'm up in my family up in Michigan right now.
Oh, you went up north to be more cold. I get it.
Yeah. So before we get to that, though, I will say, Chris, if Derek names his blow-up doll Elizabeth, I might have to start asking questions.
Yeah, right.
I'd be a little awkward.
But I didn't know that was your wife's name for years.
Sure
I only figured out what EB stood for, like, when you were getting married. I'm like, I put it together. Oh, yeah. That's why they call her EB. That's not even her real name. Okay. I always thought EB was a weird name, but I went with it. Never criticize.
Chris Gary, I think the answer is always going to be whoever's playing against Ohio State. So in this case, yes, it's going to be Michigan. My wife's side of the family is all from Michigan, and my parents' side of the family is all from Michigan State. So, and I'm from IU. Look at that.
My dad was born in Michigan. My dad went to Michigan State for his master's. So you know who I'm pulling for. All right. Although Michigan, very different things. Green and, you've got the blue. Very different teams. All right.
But yeah, so I'm up in Michigan with my family. I told my family from the get-go, I'm like, I'm going to be very antisocial from about 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock on Black Friday. So don't ask me don't ask me to do a bunch of shit. Not going to happen.
Did they watch with you?
Fortunately, 3/4 of my family watched it with me. The other quarter either took naps or went down to the beach and walked. And we're watching the game.
Unpatriotic fucks.
I swear. Watching the game. Of course, I'm like, oh, my God. Or, oh, man. Turner, get the ball off your fucking foot. I'm like, all my family's sitting there laughing at me, my reactions and stuff. And a number of them actually got embarrassed because they started getting into the game. And then they realized that they were getting into watching soccer. And like, yeah, soccer, pussies, everything.
That's crazy. Why would they be embarrassed about that? They should be embarrassed. They weren't interested in the first place. But that's what they should be embarrassed about.
My sister-in-law came down, and after she took a nap, she comes down, and she started trolling me on purpose. And she's like, "Oh my God, why aren't we watching? Aren't there college football games going on? Why aren't we watching those right now? And oh my God,
because they're meaningless.
Are they ever going to do anything during this?" Insert my sister-in-law's name. Like, maybe you should go back to sleep or have a Snickers. You're grumpy when you're hungry.
You should have said, "Shut up, bitch." That's what you should have said.
Okay.
I don't know how your family operates, but that might have been said in mine.
She's purely just trolling me.
Yeah. Okay. Johnny Arnold, thanks for the $2, my friend. MMA midfield dominated that $270 million midfield. Yeah, they did. They were better. They really were. And
Declan Rice and Bellingham are going to cost Chelsea like 280 million euro.
Yeah. It wasn't the best performance by England at all, but we'll get into why that's the case. It wasn't just that England played poorly. It's that, frankly, I can't believe I'm going to say this. Gregg outmanaged Southgate.
Yeah. I joked around about it because maybe it is harder going cold turkey on Gregg than we thought, and that's why Southgate kind of fucked around with this match.
Because he talked about snatch?
Yeah, exactly. No, this match. So he's like, hey, Berhalter made a comment. He's like, yeah, I've been trying to keep up with Southgate on WhatsApp app or whatever the fuck that app's called, and Southgate's like, yeah, we haven't talked for a couple days. And I'm like, maybe he got in his head there. Maybe that's all part of his plan.
Maybe so. I mean, Southgate did switch to a 4-4-2 after the first 10 or 15 minutes, remember? Or was it even deeper? No, I think it was around then. And I thought, okay, that's probably going to work. And then it really didn't. So we dominated, I think, the last 10 or 15 minutes of the first half. So, Gregg.
Yeah, I thought we sort of accepted a lot of it. We'll get into this. Fuck it. We're not there yet.
Greg Busby says, straight red. Okay, let's try this again tomorrow. I need the Brett and Derek Juju to deliver the W against those fucking Brits today. By the way, I did sacrifice a chicken earlier for a bit of Santeria Juju as a backup. Thanks, Greg, and great shirt.
Fabulous
shirt. Man, I wish I had one of those. Wait, I do have one of those. And great job. Oh, by the way, just to be really clear, they're English. We can call them Brits, I guess, but
I'm sure the Welsh
envelops more people.
I'm sure Wales was hoping that they'd beat us too.
Oh, can we get to that real quick? Wales getting their ass handed to them by Iran today.
So did you watch the match?
Yes.
I didn't watch the match.
Who had the best chances? Who had the best chances? Iran. The whole fucking game, they had the best chances. So
I'm gonna lay this out. I was up at 5:40, and I'm like, do I just stay awake for the second half? I'm like, no, fuck it. I've got to be lucid tonight. I'm like, I can't be tired. So
we recorded it, and I watched it right before the match that was before, which was the Dutch versus I can't remember. I watched that one too. It wasn't Senegal.
Qatar? No,
not Qatar.
Who did they play? Senegal played Qatar.
Whoever it was, they hung in there really well.
Dutch.
Ecuador. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they tied 1-1, didn't they?
Yeah. Ecuador is quite good.
But so I go back and I look at the stats and I'm like, oh my God, they lost 2-0 and there was a red card. Did that play a factor, you think? And I'm like, okay, well, the red card happened at the 88th minute.
Right.
And then the goals happened at the 98th minute and the 101st minute. And I'm like, holy shit. 11 minutes of extra time, really?
Go watch the highlights, though, Brett. Watch the highlights from Fox.
Yeah.
You will see that most of the really good chances throughout the game were still from Iran.
Sure.
They woke up and played today, and my dad was saying, well, that doesn't bode very well for us against Iran if, we just tied Wales and then Wales got their ass beat. Well, they lost with 10 men. I explained it to him.
Yeah.
When you're down 10 men, that can make a big difference.
And let's also talk about, jumping back to the Wales game, it also took a stupid fucking foul in the box for them to tie it up with us at the 82nd minute. So
yes,
and that's not saying that's not giving us credit. We created a couple chances in the first, and that was legit it. But
I hate to be negative, but that stupidity continued today for Zimmerman.
I've got a video about it, and Lawless talks about it. So you will talk about Zimmerman here shortly.
Yeah. So anything else you want to share with us about your holiday? Chris, Gov. You let us know. $5. We appreciate it.
Ninja E's. So, Gov.
Kane Dolowski with the beautiful miss. No shit. We were all holding our breath.
I was like, once he missed it, I was like, oh my God, I could breathe again. Oh, God.
I pissed in my pants.
I saw it coming, yeah. Yep.
There's a little squirtage that got out. I had a trickle issue right then. I'm old now, so it's hard for me to hold it in when the shit almost hits the fan. You know what I mean?
Literally. Chris, thanks for the 5. Appreciate that.
Jose, thank you, Jose, and thank you for the $5. Our good friend Jose says, still an important game to go, but my English buddy was watching with me. Priceless ragging on him get dominated by Yanks. Let's go. I mean, there got to be a lot of people in England today going, God, the U.S. team's actually kind of good.
I think all the fans were practically shitting on their team more so than giving us credit. All the English fans were out in numbers prior to the game, predicting 4-0 wins.
Well, you got to wonder.
Oops. We didn't get the memo. I'm sorry.
What's that?
We didn't get the 4-0 memo.
The 4-0 memo?
Were you listening to me like literally 10 seconds ago?
The connection didn't work back there. So
You're
I had to come in here. That's my brother in the background.
Oh.
I had to steal his guest room because there he is. USA! Yo! You can tell the similarities in jaw lines. But yeah, what were you saying about 4-0?
Yeah, all the English fans, and apparently Wayne Rooney predicted 5-0, but all the English fans on Twitter were predicting a 4-0 victory for England.
What a bunch of
and I'm saying we didn't get the memo, apparently.
No, we did not. And I would have never guessed it would be that bad, even though I predicted we might lose. I thought we might lose 2-0 or 2-1. But I never in any way thought we were going to lose 4-0. That's ridiculous. We have everybody healthy. Why would we lose 4-0? Because last I checked, Aronson, even our back guys coming off the bench play at Dortmund and Leeds United, right?
Well, yeah, and we'll get into that too. But yes, finally the better sub options came in, but for how long? I mean,
yeah, I know
they had borderline no time, so
I got it. Yeah, I know, but
we'll get into all that here in just a minute.
Yeah, we will. I did have some bad crab tonight. I thought I'd just warn people if you.
She gave it to you again,
Elizabeth. All right. No, so we had our traditional after Christmas day. We have a big seafood thing. We get crab, mussels, the little river bugs, whatever they're called, and it's all in one pot, potatoes and corn, and it's nice, throw out some stuff and you just throw out all the the crab, when you cracked open all the crab legs, there was just like this skinny little rinky-dink little piece of meat in it. And we're like, what the fuck? And it happened to one person, then it happened to the next person and their crab, happened to the next person and their crab. So we researched it. What happened was that we bought crab from Kroger. Well done, Kroger. That was dead. See, once crab dies, all its insides start to shrink and shrivel, and the bacteria starts to eat away at it. And so that's why you're not supposed to cook it once it's dead. You're supposed to throw it in there while it's still alive and kicking into the boiling. So this is pre-cooked crab. So all you really have to do when you buy it at the store is steam it and warm it up, and you can eat it. Well, no, sir. We did steam it, so we cooked it the second time, and everybody's cracking up their crab, and there's like no meat in it. We're like, what the hell's going on? Man, luckily we still had other things to eat, like shrimp and etc. And then we did our annual Thanksgiving beer ratings. So what I do is I go out and I buy about 10 different beers or 9 different beers, and I number them 1 through 10, and I cover them with a bag so you can't see what they are, but we pop the tops, we pour, and then we have a rating scale that we stole from Beer Advocate, and we all rate the beers. And that was a lot of fun. So the beers we did this year are Brothers Thelonious, the Chauffé, Nice Chauffé, the Golden Monkey from Victory, Boulevard Bourbon, the Quad, the Duvel. We did a Duvel, the Pirate, the Three Philosophers from Omegon, the Golden Drac, Lafrogue, which was made in barrels of Scottish Lafrogue, which is whiskey. And we had the Trader Joe's Dark Ale and the St. Bernardus Triple. So all good beers. And right now, and I can't believe this, the St. Bernardus is the highest with an 87 average out of 100. Anyhow, so those of you into Belgian beer, that's a fucking all-star list of beers there. It really is. So I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving as well, and that it was full of delicious things to drink and eat. Like you, we had a standing rib roast, by the way, for Thanksgiving.
It's a nice prime rib today. We had 2 turkeys yesterday cooked, one in the oven, and then one on the Traeger. We slow cooked that fucker along with some beef tips, rib tips. Those were fucking delicious.
Wow.
And just another day here of feeling like I just ate way too much, and it was good. It was a good feeling in a bad way, I guess.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Or bad feeling in a good way, I guess. That's probably a better way of wording it.
All
right.
As we get into the game, if I hear Stu Holden for the next time say the following words, play brave on the ball, I'm going to fucking hit him in his balls. I'm seriously going to find him. I'm going to hunt him down, and I'm going to kick him right in his fucking baby nuts when he's not looking. And I'm going to run away laughing as because I'm just sick of hearing him calling games. It almost ruined parts of the game today. It was annoying to me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It was like everything he said is like, yeah, of course. Either he was like, well, yeah, or it was like, oh, don't say that. Please don't say that. Don't say they need to play brave or they're playing brave on the ball. That's not exactly what's happening here.
Do you think
it's a cliche?
Do you think it's possible to have a soundboard of things that Stu has said and they're just playing them periodically?
And just punching the buttons while he takes a nap. Let's see. Justin Moran says, as proud as I am of the performance, I'm guessing that 0-0 didn't move the needle much for casual American sports fans watching today. If it didn't, they just didn't watch the game, because even though it was 0-0, it wasn't boring. I mean, everybody, I think, was on the edge of their seats. Well, in my house, they were. And, you know.
Well, I mean, I had a couple of casual watchers, like people who basically would never watch soccer unless it was foisted upon them, basically. Asking questions as far as like what happens with 0-0 tie. And I had a bunch of other casual family member that actually answered the questions for me. They talked about how you get 1 point, you get 3 points for a win, 1 for a draw, 0 for a loss. And they explained the tournament rules, and I'm just like, I don't even have to do it anymore. This is nice.
They did.
I explained other aspects of the game. Talked about how, and none of them watched any of the games, but I talked about how, Gregg came out with a different game plan against England, and it's actually working because it's frustrating the shit out of them.
Yeah.
And They kind of had an understanding there. It opened the grounds for me to talk about other things besides, teams can, they can draw in the World Cup. They can go 0-0 draw.
Yes. I mean, it was really, and let's start with that. I mean, right off the bat, it was fairly obvious that Gregg was not going to press. And we basically said, okay, hey, your two center backs want to kick it around all day together? Have fun. We're just going to sit right here. We are not moving.
They talked about that too. They're like, they're just going to let the center backs kick it around. And they're going to get frustrated and make it an errant pass, and we'll collect it. All right? Harry Maguire's going to make that pass, try to force it, and it goes out of bounds, and all of a sudden we get the ball back.
Right. Hey, we let them clown around like that all day.
Yeah.
Haji Wright and Weah and Pulisic were not biting. They weren't biting. They were going to just let those clowns do that shit. And that's when they, switched formations, England did. When they realized, they're just going to stand there. What's
your official formation for the game?
It was a 4-3-3. I got your 4-2-2-2-2 thing. I can't. There were moments where it did look like maybe that could be it. And I saw it and I'm like, we're kind of playing. But then too consistently, when we didn't have the ball, it went right back to where it was, which was a 4-3-3. On offense, we could wiggle all over the place. I mean, guys were switching and connecting and changing places. And
I noticed that there definitely plays throughout the game where we weren't necessarily doing our standard high press, but we were playing in a sense where it looked like Haji and Weah played up definitely higher up. Pulisic kind of pinched back a little bit more, not as far back as West was, so they're kind of staggered to an extent. So that's why I was like, maybe it's kind of like a hybrid 4-2-2-2, because then you definitely saw Musa and Adams playing more of a pivot, and West not necessarily playing that dual 8.
Yeah.
At times. I mean, it changed. It fluctuated, of course.
Whenever Adams couldn't make himself available, Musa would come back and help out. We saw a lot of that. We even saw West do it a couple times, not many. He tried to get wide quite a bit early on in the game. And then later on, here's things to say about West. West had really 2 good looks today. And he missed them both.
Oh my God! Yeah.
The first one was atrocious, and the second one is, I'm glad he's taking the shot from outside the box. But can we keep it down? Can we just get it on goal, even if it doesn't go in? So, music friend, when England got the ball, we went 4-4-2.
I do think Pulisic came back further in the defense than Weah did most of the game.
That could be true.
That could also simply be just so he can get the ball quicker. I don't know.
It could also be what side of the ball England what side of the field they were on, and it would look like that, and then it would shift when it was the other way around. So Fox and Telemundo label it as a 4-1-2-3. That's just couldn't be further from the truth.
Well,
it's just a 4-3-3.
4-3-3, yeah.
Yeah. And it, not to say that Adams and McKennie and Musa are flat 4-3-3. I mean, there's a subtle differences there, but it's not an outright 4-1-2-3. No, it's just not. It isn't. So they're wrong.
Man, when Weston had that first chance that he should have put away, or at least put on frame, I was just going, get your fucking knee over the ball.
Yes. We were all yelling.
Oh my God.
Yeah. You got to stay over it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it looked like throughout most of the game, if we want to give a general overview of it, like we did really well. I don't know what the possession numbers ended like, but I don't think England could have dominated those possession numbers. Do we have those?
Yeah, let's pull it up real quick.
Let's look it up real quick, because there was a time at the beginning of the game where I was like, are we going to ever touch the ball?
Possession was 56-44 in England's favor.
Okay. So we clawed back in the possession stats, which is good.
We had 10 shots to their 8, although 3 of theirs were on target. Only 1 of ours was.
Yeah.
83-87% passing accuracy. And the biggest factor that I noticed, and this was the referee who says this is his debut game as a center official in a World Cup. And I'm sitting there going like, oh no, this is going to be bad. 0 yellow cards.
Yeah.
Game.
Good for us. Thank
Very
God.
good for us. I'm just saying. I'm happy to see a ref that let the game play. Now, I think that he called the game well. I thought he did a good job. For the most part.
For the most part. Yeah. For the most
He let
part.
some things go a little too much, I think. But yeah, no yellow cards. So I guess, and to be fair to that, there weren't a lot of challenges that probably warranted a yellow card. Maybe one that I can think of. That one on Weah probably should have been a call.
Yes. Yes. I'm sorry. That was an ankle stomp with
exactly.
spikes. Yeah. But all in all, didn't have much complaints with the ref besides that. There were some weird throw-ins again, just like the prior game versus Wales, when I thought, no, that was off of them. And then they got to throw it in. And everyone in the room was like, what? No, that was off of them. Not, and even the players were like, what are you talking about? That was off them, clearly. Anyhow, that happened 2 or 3 more times again today. And I'm like, what's going on? Am I living in a fucking, weird universe? I don't get it. But for the most part, that wasn't an issue, thankfully. But overall, you have to say we played fairly well. And there was a good chance we could have won that game. But then there was a good chance we could have lost it right there at the end when Harry Kane was somehow left alone. Not alone, but alone enough to get his head on the ball. And I guarantee you he scores that 8 out of 10 times, usually, for Tottenham. So we got lucky there. Let's start with the players. Let's just talk about them. Matt Turner made me nervous. But,
okay, well, no, let's specify what made you nervous. I thought
the time he tried to dribble,
his shot stopping ability was phenomenal. when Turner got the ball at his feet and he faked it clear, cut it back, and then dribbled to the opposite corner of the 18 before passing it out, I'm just going, get rid of the fucking ball. Get rid of the fucking ball. It
was insane. It really was. I couldn't believe that he was dribbling outside.
He was outside of his mind, man. He's just like, it's gonna work. This is it.
Yeah,
I'm a footballer now.
We all had a heart attack. So I mean, he made some incredible saves that saved us, and so all kudos to Turner, even after he made me very nervous.
He was strong going up for the ball, especially on the corners. Outside of those dangerous plays with the ball at his feet, I wasn't too concerned with him. I mean, obviously he did his job, and he did a great job at it.
Yeah, Dest, I thought was having a pretty good game for the most part. I don't have any problem with Dest's play. It was better than the last game. So, breaking USA. Defender Dest has been arrested by Qatar officials over alleged theft in the hotel room after the U.S. v. England game. Checking on his pockets, he only had sterling. Oh, very well done. Very well done. U.S. men's national team burner Serginho Dest and Jedi Robinson emptying their pockets when they get back to their hotel. Yes, I have to say, although Jedi made a few, but listen, when you're rushing forward with the ball, you're going to make a few mistakes here and there. All right. Yeah. But he was solid. He was solid on defense too.
And he can make those mistakes busting forward because he had most of the time he had Adams that stayed back, and he had Ream right there. And he felt confident with Ream being right there.
I think if you ask a layperson off the street to watch this game and ask them, well, who's got the better team? I think a lot of people have said the United States had a better team today. Even though on paper that's not true. But fuck paper. This is real life. So can you hold on a second? I got to close. My brother came in. Then he left the door wide fucking open. So I'm going to go close it. I'll be right back. Until then.
Put your pants on.
Oh, my pants are on. But my dick's hanging out of them.
Yeah,
no, I'm kidding. All right. Be right back.
Be 2 seconds. He'll be right back. I'm hearing an echo now. Your headphones are speaking into the microphone.
All right. So that's Turner and Dest. Both very good games. Let's get to the one who didn't have a good game.
Oh, hold on. I got it for him. I got you for it. Let me find that video. Hold on.
And when I say he didn't have a good game, I'm saying he had too many of those moments. So yeah, you got to hey.
There were some with Zimmerman, because this is who we're talking about, right?
Yes.
Okay. So Zimmerman had some nice defensive plays. He stopped Kane's shot in the first half. That was a great stop.
Right.
He had some he did some decent play throughout the game. He also had near 100% passing accuracy because he kept passing it straight to Ream. And the only times where he didn't successfully complete a pass are the plays we're going to see on this video.
Well, he had a horrible pass out to Jedi. He had passes to the other team. He was our weakest point, the weakest point on the whole team. And I hate saying that because, he's trying. You got
to break it down because going over the game and breaking down all the players and stuff like that, there weren't a lot of points where I'm like, well, this player is clearly having an off day. Everything seemed to be working. They worked well in that system that Gregg threw out there. So saying that he's the worst player really boils down to these 4 plays, because these 4 plays were massive, either just errant passes or straight to the opposition, or setting up Adams for a soon to be failed reception, because he's going to receive the ball and get plowed from behind.
Right.
But yeah, this is Lawless talking about Zimmerman, which is good to hear.
Makes a play that he shouldn't. That results in the penalty. Now he comes back in his second game, and look, he has been put the pen.
Okay, I'm stopping it from time to time, guys, just so we don't get busted for copyright infringement or anything like that.
He is about to say he is.
Player for Gregg Berhalter in the back.
Yeah.
No
got fortunate on that play. But yeah, that was a long pass. Fortunately, worked out in our benefit. This pass, what the hell is this? Turns like, fuck it, dude.
And this one is atrocious.
Is this the one going to Dest?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, who the fuck is that too, dude?
So do you remember? I forgot which game it was. I think it was during maybe September window. But Zimmerman played a ball out to Scally, but played it like 10 yards in front of him.
Yes.
And he yelled out, like, it was like, he didn't say Jesus, but he's like, Jesus, Scally,
Yeah, like it was Scally's fault.
But that was the exact same play. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, it's when the passes are basic, and sometimes, and you can't quite say that because Zimmerman has had a couple of long passes to Pulisic that have been great, perfect passes. But for the most part, unless he's making a straight pass across to his right or left, it makes you question sometimes.
It's not his 4K. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's be real clear about that. If we want someone to do a long ball or a through ball, just give it to Ream and let him do it. Aren't we all of us so glad Tim Ream is on this team now? He's been like the fucking backbone of the fucking defense on this team. Not Zimmerman, Ream. Ream has. Not Zimmerman.
100%.
Zimmerman looks like he's holding on by a thread sometimes.
We talked about that. We talked about that last recap. I mean, Zimmerman came into this camp not having the best September. Some plays and not having the best performance as a whole in the September window. He had a couple of errant plays like this. A lot of people who did watch Nashville towards the end of the season were talking about how he wasn't performing as well as he was in the beginning of the season, and I'm just like, after the foul in Wales, I was just sitting there going like, is he going to continue to do this?
Right. So he didn't continue to do that, but he did have some bad passes, and that should be noted. And we're noting it. Okay. That's it. We're not busting his balls. We're not tearing him down. We're
not at all. This one right here is like, again, just he could clearly see forward and see that Adams had the ball or had pressure on him.
Yeah, hospital.
There wasn't much outline options played out.
Yep.
I mean, but yeah, not the best play there. And that big one right there. Mm-hmm. That was a monster one.
I thought that one was going to cost us. I honestly did. Yeah. So that's got to be cleaned up versus Iran.
Yeah.
Has to be.
Exactly, and people are talking about giving CCV a chance here.
No.
I don't think you're going to see any defensive changes
No
by
way.
any means.
No.
That back four is set in stone in Berhalter's eyes at this point.
You cannot make.
We're going into the game in a must-win situation. We have to win, or else we don't go out.
Has CCV ever played alongside Ream in his life?
No.
Ever.
Well, I guess you got to take into consideration that up until the World Cup, Ream hasn't been included for about 9 months.
That's okay. Everybody knew Ream. The whole team knew who he was, and so did Zimmerman. So I think that's okay. But you're going to bring in a guy CCV who barely played for us, and doesn't know Tim Ream from a fucking hole in the wall. So never played next to him. Yeah.
I didn't know you were going to expand upon that. I was just simply saying that Ream hasn't been there for 9 months. CCV under Gregg has just gotten in, within the last handful of months. So.
The only way we see a change in those back two center backs is if somebody gets kicked in the fucking ball sack and their dick falls off. That is the only way that is happening at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Is that Evie telling you to bring her the shrimp, the yum shrimp?
We still have about 24 minutes, Derek.
Okay. But she's like,
she knows this.
Make sure you bring your yum shrimp, right? All right.
We covered the back lines.
Let's jump Jedi. Into midfield here. We did talk about Jedi.
We talked about Jedi.
Good. Yeah.
Let's jump into MMA.
Adam touches versus England. Holy fuck.
He was everywhere.
Yeah, that's crazy.
This is another great performance by Adams, my opinion.
I think so. I think, okay. And people are like, well, what about that one time? And what about that other time? And that other, like, okay, so he made 3 mistakes all game and he's touching the ball this often. I think that's fine. All right. He made one of those really weird passes out wide where you're like, you didn't even pass it to Ream. You made him run 40 yards to get it. So, I'm exaggerating, but
Yeah, and you can make that argument and say, well, I mean, you just ripped Zimmerman for only having like 3 or 4 bad plays. But
his could have led to goals.
True. And looking at the touches, you're like, oh, well, I mean, Tyler's touched the ball less than Zimmerman did. Well, that's because Zimmerman and Ream kept passing the ball back and forth. And so that stat right there is a little misleading in that sense. But
yes, sure.
And Adam's playing all over the field, and sometimes even in an advanced role. Of course, you're going to make errant passes, but if he did happen to make a bad pass in his defensive third, his ass always get back on that.
Yeah, and you got to think everybody was using at certain points of the game both Ream and Zimmerman as a pass back option, and even Adams did it too. Adams passed it back to them very often. So there's that. By the way, overall, he does make game-saving tackles.
He's overrated. All he does is make game-saving tackles.
Okay. Yeah. By the way, I bit my fucking tongue a couple days ago. I mean, badly. Very badly. So if I'm lisping or sounding funny, that's why. Like the right side of my tongue is swollen. I bit it so bad. All right. Adams looks great with the Captain Armband. He sure does. Christopher Ellie, thank you for the $2. And by the way, the morons on Fox who kept calling Pulisic Captain Pulisic, can you get a grip on reality? He's not the captain. Okay? He's not. Just do a little basic research that you're hired to do. You're hired to know those things. Sad. And this was in the prior game that was leading up to the U.S. game. During the Holland game, the announcers were like, oh, yeah, next coming up is Captain America. It's like, dude, he's not the fucking captain of the team. Know your facts, all right? Know your facts. Or else stop calling soccer. All right. And then, Musa McKennie. I'm glad that McKennie got pulled when he did because fitness, number 1. Yellow card, number 2.
Sure.
And as much as he put himself in really good spots to score, I thought he had a better game than he did against Wales. And but I think there's still more Wes can give us. I want more. I want more from Wes.
Well, okay. Speaking of West, and this is going to kind of bleed into I guess I'll hold this topic up for later because we're going to bring up Pulisic and his set piece taking today.
Oh, it got better.
I swear to God, he must have been practicing every fucking day leading into that game.
Yes, because it was so demonstrably better that he must have been practicing this.
And I think all the other players were surprised, and that's why nobody ever got to any of the fucking headers. Like, and holy shit, that was actually a good hit.
I mean, why was nobody on that back post? Why was Zimmerman 5 seconds late to the back post that Pickford had to touch out of bounds and give us a corner kick on the other side? Where was Zimmerman? Or if not Zimmerman,
anybody?
Where was someone else on the back fucking post of that fucking cross?
One of my casual family or followers of the sport asked that. He goes, "Why was the back post? Why is the back wide open? Why isn't somebody there?" I'm like, beats the fuck out of me.
Your answer should have been idiocy, and if not idiocy, lunacy, because that's something you just have to have. You got to have a front post guy. You have to have guys in the middle, and then you got to have a back post guy. That's just like soccer fucking 101. And it's been that way since I was a child of fucking 10 years old with a much smaller penis. Like, you got to fucking know basic shit like that. I mean, if you don't know it, then something's wrong there. If that needs to be fixed. So I'm glad that Pulisic got better at taking crosses. But
maybe we'll capitalize on Tuesday.
We didn't get better on capitalizing on the crosses. So
not at all.
Now we're still fucked up there. And then, Greg says, well, what would you want more for the, from set pieces going forward? He said, goals. Well, no shit, dickhead. But that's your job to help make sure there is a guy on the back post, that there is a guy running to the back post, and there is somebody there. So.
Or maybe put in somebody that could start a match and be a very consistent free kick taker. I mean,
Reyna?
Do we have any one of those?
Reyna?
Again, his short amount of spell is definitely better than the Wales game. Anything was going to be better, but it is still criminal that you're putting him in there with like less than 10 minutes left.
You know what's real irritating about that is that, I told my brother before this World Cup started, I said the best player we have is actually Gio Reyna. It isn't Pulisic. And he's going to be a really important part. I told this to the girl at work too. And I'm embarrassed now. It's like they're like, who? Reyna's not starting in, Derek. This is what my brother told me today. So he can't be that important. I think you got that wrong. Like, no, wait.
Yeah.
Wait, he can be important, but it's Greg. It's Greg.
So my brother even goes, he shot me a text. He goes, dude, where the fuck's Reyna? I go, Berhalter's an idiot.
Yes.
That's all I said.
That's what I said too. Yep. And so he gets a whole fucking 8 minutes today. Oh, hoorah. Yeah, and he didn't really get a chance to show much.
No.
Yeah.
These late subs never do. This is what's stupid about it. And I understand Weston's sub with Aronson was held off because the ball never fucking left the field for like 8 minutes. So at least I was at least trying to get him on earlier than that. But some of these subs have to happen a lot sooner than just the final 10 minutes. Because expecting somebody to go on there and magically perform and maybe get a result in those final minutes is bullshit. It's dumb. It's never going to happen. Or likely won't happen.
Likely. Soccer Boy Media for $5. Thank you, my friend. Lack of set piece goals have hurt U.S. men's national team during the tournament. It certainly is and has.
During qualifying.
But it's been during qualifying. It's been during Greg's whole fucking tenure.
I mean,
okay? I'm trying to keep it down tonight. I'm trying to keep it down.
If it wasn't
I would have yelled that.
If it wasn't for Weston's slew of corner kick goals during Nations League, have we really scored that many off of set plays at all? Oh no, and the Acosta in Honduras. Was it Honduras?
And Morris at the very end of that other game, I guess, started as a set piece.
They come in spells, like literally like one game every 8 games there's a free kick or a free kick take. Cool.
Yeah. and well, at the end of the game,
bread butter.
When we have one kick left at the end of the game, and you try a dink pass off
Oh,
to
my God.
fucking Reyna? No, you put that shit in the box, you stupid motherfuckers. What are you thinking? That must, if that was a Gregg instruction, hey, let's run that play. We came up with Reyna.
The Gregg special. The Gregg special. No, that was
no. The name of the play was actually called. I don't know if you could read his lips. It was called Hurry Balls. Hurry Balls. That was the name of the play, and that's what we got out of it. Nothing. Yeah. Harry Balls. That's it. Reyna's Harry Balls. So
literally seconds, and then bam, we're gonna try
game
that.
Over.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Lob that in the box. Prayer and hope.
No shit. Fucking bring everybody up and let Turner kick it into the box. I mean, get everybody's fucking ass in that box except for Turner. Launch it in there because you know the whistle's blowing at any minute. Any second, it's going to blow.
Here you go.
So
that play was actually called the Flying G.
The Flying G.
All the English players are going, what the fuck was that?
I think all the English players were saying to each other, you know, our coach is actually worse than theirs. God, how's that possible? Oh, it is possible. Well, we waited forever for, Grealish to come in. Where was fucking Foden? Why wasn't Foden on that fucking field? I don't even understand it. I really don't get it. But hey, I'm not rooting for England, so they can go fuck themselves. Musa, we didn't talk much about Musa.
Fair enough.
Good. He played well. I mean, he's solid. And it's hard to get the ball off of him. And
there were definitely a couple plays where I was just like, fuck, Musa.
My parents were saying that too. Well, where they're like, get rid of it. And I'm like, don't worry. It's very hard to take the ball off of Musa. And he very rarely lost it. He just ended up passing it backwards. But it looked like he could lose it at any minute. Then we got Weah, who had some good plays, had some crosses. I mean, he was Weah. Nothing that I didn't expect from him.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I come to the point where I expect him to do something somewhat magical during a game. And he provided a couple of those moments. I would have liked to see more from him.
Well, that's because ever since the areola injury that he suffered on that one window.
I didn't know he had an areola injury.
Wrong areola. you remember that window in during World Cup qualifying where Paul Areola played the first two matches of the window, and he was slotted to play the third, but then injured himself during practice.
Yes.
And then Weah played, and Berhalter has not looked back since. And the fans are sitting there going like, why did it take that long? So,
yeah.
But yeah, ever since that injury, he has done something special almost every single game.
Yes.
Whether a goal or assist or just ripping apart the defense,
Or a great cross that somebody should have got onto. Yeah.
Every game you're expecting it, yeah.
Yeah. Pulisic. A little too much air ball for me still. But
there were definitely times where I was like, get the ball off your foot, but I enjoyed him this game.
He did. I thought he was really good. I thought he was a calming.
He ripped that crossbar, man. God.
I know. I thought that was going in for just a second. I did. And then I'm have to give this one of Pulisic's best performances because he was calm. I thought he had a calming influence on the whole team. I thought he was confident. Like, he did not look nervous to me at all. Not one bit did he look nervous. So good for him. And I don't know if he had total free room, Shafaro, but I do think you're right. On at least the left mid side of the field, he did. He had freedom. And then you had fucking Jedi running up the left side anyhow. So he had to go somewhere else but left, right? He had to tuck in.
And I think what benefited that is since that, again, Musa and Adams played more like a double pivot. I'm not saying they were double pivot by any means, but they played more like a double pivot, opened up that space in the midfield for him to go into, leaving the left open for Jedi to run up and down.
Yeah. Yeah. Haji Wright hardly touched the ball. I don't know what. It's not Haji's fault. It's just not. Just like it's not Sargent's fault.
He had the one header that that looked like a decent chance early on.
Right.
I thought he worked his ass off like I do with just about every 9 that's filled that role.
In the mid block, yes.
I don't understand how we're not utilizing our 9s or getting the most out of them.
We might just not even have a 9. You might as well put a cone out there and just put it a little whatever machine or a fucking remote control car on, and put a cone on top of it and just have it drive around the field, because that is how useful our 9s are. We're basically playing with 10 players every game. 10 fucking players play on offense for us. On defense, all 11 play, but on offense, we play with 10 players. Their 9s are not involved. Yeah. They do not touch the ball. They do not get on the end of crosses, except for rarely. And when they do, they're kind of like off chances, although Sargent just hit the bar and Haji Wright had a shot. I get it. But they don't touch the ball enough. They're not involved in the game enough. And that's on Gregg. Although Gregg's game plan was pretty good for the most part today, but he can't figure out the 9.
Yeah, well, I mean, Gregg could take his game plan, do the exact same thing that he does anyways, but pinch those wings down and then in a little bit. And then you just have your 9 up here. And what is his role? His role is to be a 9.
Or you take them and you pinch them in, the Pulisic, and you don't really want to pinch Weah in, so you pinch Reyna in and Pulisic, and then you play right behind them, Aronson. Behind them as a 10. It's a fucking 10. Or you play Reyna as the 10 and you put Aronson where Weah is. Now, right now, I don't want to fuck with Weah because that shit's working.
Are you saying no 9 in that situation then?
No 9.
Okay.
Yep. I'm talking false 9. I'm playing Reyna as a false 9. So, and tucked in as a CAM. 2 strikers? That's crazy. He's right. It is to Gregg.
Nuts, I swear to God.
It is to Gregg. That is true.
So here's the question. I mean, you've got Pulisic who's playing well in that left net sense. Let's think about a 4-2-2-2 in that sense. But instead of Weston playing out wide, you pinch, say, a Weah that has free roam to run up and down the sidelines, and then you legit play 2 strikers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that it could work.
It's not like we didn't ask Weah to come back and play in the low block against England today. We asked him to play out wide and play defense when they had possession. So it's not that big of a difference.
Got the pace to get up and down that sideline, man. So does Pulisic, so does Aronson. Let them utilize that in that sense.
It's just a shift in, what the focus is on and what is important. And right now, our 9 is useless, and unless we change something, our 9 to be mostly useless for 99% of the game, 90% of the game.
That's not to say that 9 can't have a moment out there of flashes. I mean, like with the Ricardo Pepi getting the 3 goals during qualifier, Ferreira bagging 4 against a 116th ranked FIFA team. I mean, our 9s can score occasionally, but I mean, for the most part, it's a position with a big old fucking question mark.
Don't you feel like Ferreira thinks he's like the third best prostitute in Gregg Berhalter's fucking whorehouse at this point? He must really be feeling low, because I think he must have come to this World Cup thinking he would be a starter.
Dude, I said that.
And he hasn't played a minute.
Berhalter's 9, yeah, absolutely, 100%. Who would have?
And what did I tell you, Brett?
That he shouldn't have been there, and Pepi should be there instead.
I told you he shouldn't even be there in the first place, and Sargent's going to be starting. And I
had no faith. I had no faith in Berhalter at all.
I just couldn't. I couldn't honestly continue to pretend that Berhalter had an IQ that low. I knew it's low. I knew it was like in the 80s or 90s, but I figured it couldn't go any lower than that. But Chris Gary, $4.99. Thanks, brother. All right, sorry. Great game today. You froze up for just a second. Great game today. I had to get away from my anti-soccer family. Getting because I'm wearing a U shirt. LOL. You have a soccer family? Wow. Find a new family, Chris. that's uncool, man. That's a really uncool family. That's all I can say. You can tell them for me that, they're not only an anti-soccer family, they're just fucking plain not cool. Like, they're douchebags. I don't know. I'm sorry they're your family, and only you're allowed to call them a douchebag, but I'm giving you approval from my end to just go full force on that. Just call them what they are. Anti-soccer. What? What are we living in? The 90s? The 80s? What is this? No, it's 2022. No one's anti-soccer anymore unless they're fucking dip nuts. All right. I don't mean to offend your family, but I mean, you're allowed to. Yeah, go ahead.
Jumping back to the 9 conversation we were having before I pulled that up. Leading into the World Cup, the September window, Jesus Ferreira played a full 90 minutes out of the 2 games. And the other 2 strikers both got a half. And the one striker that's been playing in the World Cup wasn't even included. So going into this World Cup, I had no faith that Berhalter would ever play anybody besides Ferreira. And then, I mean, we're both saying I'd prefer Sargent to start. But then Sargent starts 1 game. And Haji started 1 game. And they both have come in for each other. So I'm just like, where was Ferreira for any of this? I mean, maybe he has learned it. But then again, why did he bring Ferreira in over Pepe in that situation?
I think Gregg's learned that the 9 in his system is meaningless anyhow.
Might as well throw a big body in there, that you can lob it to, I guess.
Let's just throw the biggest, tallest guy we got in there. Fuck it. Let's see if that works. And then, to not even give Ferreira 10 minutes at the end of the game says to me that he's not been impressed with Ferreira during training or the lead up to the World Cup. And that Ferreira might also have a mental problem because he's even admitted himself that he gets down on himself really bad when he plays poorly. So, all right. The subs, Aronson was fine. Moore was a shock. Right back replacement out of fucking nowhere. And he comes in immediately, fouls people 4 times, gives away 1 ball. And just, I don't know. It wasn't great.
It strikes me as odd that we're sitting here with two right back subs that have come in, and one of them is not named Scally.
Yeah.
How is that possible? Is he holding out saying he's our backup left back? He can't play right back no matter what.
Yeah. Reyna, not long enough for me. Sargent, not long enough for me. Let's rate Gregg Berhalter before we go here. And listen, let's be fair. Gregg made the right tactical decision today, but by not going high press. And that was the correct move. He actually outmanaged Southgate, which, by the way, doesn't take much because Southgate's about as dumb as a box of rocks.
But saying that Berhalter outmanaged anybody is saying a lot. So.
It is saying a lot. And I can't really throw a lot of fucking guff at him today. I enjoyed watching the game. I enjoyed the way our players interacted. I enjoyed almost everything about the game except for Zimmerman and our 9. And those things are, one of them's still on Gregg. The other one's just on Zimmerman because I don't know who else you put in besides Zimmerman at this point.
Do you think if we played that where it's not a high press, but we are still very active and pressuring on when the ball gets out?
It was an active mid-block is what it was.
Do you think if we played that consistently, do you think we'd be faring a lot better overall?
We would fare a lot better against better teams.
Okay.
I don't think that necessarily we need to play that way against teams that are lesser. I don't think you're going to see this against Iran, for instance. I think we're coming after them. I think we're fucking going straight to their nutsack. We're trying to take those balls from that nutsack. So I think we're going to play differently
with a team like Iran. You don't want to give them any confidence or any hope that there's a chance.
Right. In this case, we're just like, hey, you think you can break this shit down? Good luck.
I would be surprised if they didn't go on a attempt to break it down because all they really need is a draw.
We need a win. Nope, we need a win.
They need a draw.
Iran needs a draw.
I don't think they're gonna go balls to the wall against us because in their eyes they only need a draw for the most part. I mean, again, that's assuming England is going to beat Wales. It should.
By the way, the word "they" could mean both the United States or Iran. So, just letting you know, that's how that word "they" works.
Well, we're
in the
talking
English language.
We're talking about it, Ron, and then you said, and I said they probably won't do this. You're like, oh, we need a win. Yes, we need to win. Just in case nobody knows, we need to win.
Yeah, we need a win, which is totally a doable thing.
Yeah.
Don't pay attention to the Wales match. No, you should. You should, though, because, Iran basically said, see, we're not a pile of shit. After that pile of shit game they played against England. They're not. They're not piles of shit. And guess what? As the clock clicks down, and we're at 45, then we're at 58 minutes in the game, and then we're at 62 minutes in the game, and we haven't scored a goal yet, and it's still 0-0. Guess whose fucking balls are going to start to tingle? Every one of the players on the field are going to start to get nervous. And that little twinkle is going to go through everybody's testes. And they're all going to start tightening up. And their assholes are going to start to pucker up. And they're going to get really nervous because they know we need to win this fucking game. Mm-hmm. Or else Iran's going through to the round of the next round. Oh, Jesus. Let's hope we get through this. All right. But I am proud of the way we played tonight. I have to say that. We're going to cut it off tonight.
Well,
go ahead.
I wanted to cover Berhalter real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
So my take on Berhalter was, again, I agree with you. I love the formation he came out with. I love the tactics he played. That was really good. And the fact that he changed it up and adapted to the team he was playing blew my mind that he did it, first off. Have to give him props on that. My only quip with him is his player management. And that's when the subs are coming in and who he's subbing in. Those are the big ifs. We had the same argument against Wales. You start seeing the game going down. You make your subs.
Acosta, Morris.
Now we get into this game, and then we sit on our subs for way too long. We bring in Aronson, who unfortunately had to sit on the sideline for way too long, waiting for that ball to get to die, whether it's a foul or out of bounds or whatever.
Right.
And you had Moore, and Reyna. But Reyna just came in way too fucking late in the match. And Sargent too. But Reyna's the big one. He should have came in the same time Aronson came in.
8 minutes to go.
Yeah.
Not enough time. All right.
It still perplexes me that they brought Moore in over Scally, but whatever.
That was weird. I didn't see Moore coming. That's kind of weird. I didn't see him coming. I've never seen him come. I'm sure he does that in private with his girlfriend. All right. Until the next time, I want to say I hope everybody had a fantastic Thanksgiving. Thank you for continuing to back the show and show up here. Mm-hmm. And we will be back on Tuesday after the game at 8:15 again. And hopefully we will have qualified for the World Cup. Until the next time, for Brett and Derek and the Straight Red Card, good night.
Do her. Yeah.
Oh no!
Matt, what the hell was that?
Wasn't me.